Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Green again. This is another in my Algebra 2 lessons. We're working our way through Unit 6. We're quickly approaching the end of it, but you need to make certain you've got everything in Unit 5 completed. That's the way I typically do things. I keep reminding you of the previous unit. Make certain you go back and check. Make certain you don't have any zeros in it, because as we get closer to those due dates, those things lock in and you cannot change the grades after they're locked in. Okay? What we're looking at this time is solving, come on, that shouldn't have been there, solving rational equations. I didn't know if you knew it or not, but what we were getting to was some of these yucky word problems. I know, geez, I hate it too, but you know what? That's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to solve some real life, real world problems using rational equations. Yeah, really? Are these going to be real world problems? Well, I think you will see that they are. What we're looking at here is that the rate a person which or a machine works to complete a task is based on the time it takes them to complete a task. In general, if a person can complete a task in t hours, then the rate at which they work is 1 over t per hour. That's just generally the equation you can use, 1 over t per hour. From that equation, we can come up and say, what if it's more than one person working? Okay? What if there's some shared work going on here? If it's shared work, I've got 1 over the first person doing the work by themselves, and 1 over b is the rate that the second person works by themselves, and then 1 over t would be the total time it takes for them to work together. And this works out quite simply. Okay? So A and B are the individual times, and T is the time where they work together. So let's look at a problem here. It takes 10 hours for a Toro to build a fence. That means I would set up a little thing saying that a Toro has a rate of 1 over 10. Okay? It takes a total of 6 hours for Sun and Arturo together. That means my total time, together, will be equal to 1 over 6. How long does it take Sun to build it? Well, this is exactly what that problem was saying, what that equation was saying. If I take 1 over 10 plus 1 over Sun's time, Sun's rate, and add those together, I'm going to get 1 over 6. You know what? This is a polynomial type problem. I need to make certain I've got common denominators here. This is going to be s over 10s plus 10 over 10s. And when I add those together, I get s plus 10 over 10s. And that's equal to 1 over 6. Cross multiply. What do I get? I get 6s plus 60 equals 10s. Subtract the 6s. And what do I get? 60 equals 4s, or s equals 15. What does that mean? That means it takes Sun 15 hours to build the fence by himself. That wasn't that bad. Yeah, word problem. Geez. Guess what? We're going to do it every single time here. Same type of problem. Skylar can complete shopping twice as fast as her brother. So that means if I take 1 over 2s plus 1 over s, what is this? This one is 2 times this one. Right? So this is Blaze's time, this is Skylar's time. Together they can do the shopping in 3 hours. All I got to do is find a common denominator. That would be 2 over 2s, right? That means I've got 1 plus 2, that's 3 over 2s is equal to 1 over 3. That means 9, oops, off my white, a little board here. 9 is equal to 2s. That means s is equal to 4.5. That means Skylar shops in 4.5 hours. And that means Blaze shops in 9 hours. Do you see how I got that? Now, you know what? This one is worthy of starting up my calculator just to show you how this works. Because this is so cool. I mean, the little calculator can actually do this sort of stuff with us. Okay? So here I am. Bring my calculator over here to the screen so you can see it. And I'm going to clear all this junk out of it so that there's nothing there. And move it over a little bit so I can see the screen that we're working with. Okay? So I said Skylar does it in 4.5 hours. So I'm going to say parenthesis 1 divided by 4.5 parenthesis plus, and Blaze takes 9 hours parenthesis 1 divided by 9 parenthesis, and I'm adding those together, and I got, oh geez, Mr. Green, that's a terrible fraction. Math number 1 turns a fraction in a decimal into a fraction, and I get 1 over 3, which is exactly the answer. I have the number I have right there. Ta-da! Oh man, that's actually cool. Let's look at a couple more of these, okay? It takes 5 hours for Lena to paint a room. 1 over 5. That's her rate. It takes 3 hours for Lena and Gustav together, plus 1 over Gustav is equal to 1 over 3. Common denominators. Okay, 5g plus g up here, and 5 and 5g. Add these together, and I get g plus 5 over 5g is equal to 1 over 3. Cross multiply, and I get 3g's plus 15 is equal to 5g. And I subtract the 3g from both sides. I get 15 is equal to 2g. And I divide by 2. Gustav is equal to 7.5 hours. So it took Lena 5 hours to paint the room. It would take Gustav 7.5 hours to paint the room. But together they get it done in 3 hours. Want to check that? Okay, well, let's just look at this, okay? Clear my little calculator out. Parenthesis 1 divided by 5 plus parenthesis 1 divided by, what did I say, 7.5, 0.5, parenthesis. I'm going to move my calculator over so I can check that's what I had put in there. That's what I have in there. And I press enter. Gives me that fraction again. I press number and I turn it into a fraction. And it's 1/3. That's what I had to begin with. Yes. Okay. These numbers are checking very easily for me. Let's go look at number 8. Brooks can mow the lawn twice as fast as his sister. Oh man. Brooks, you're going bragging again. Okay? So 1 over 2 times Brooks plus 1 over 1 times Brooks, because he can do it twice as fast. Together, they do it in 2.5 hours. 1 over 2.5. I know. You're not supposed to put a decimal in the bottom of a fraction, but in this situation, what am I doing? I'm getting a common denominator, adding them together. 3 divided by 2b, b, 2 times Brooks, is equal to 1 over 2.5. Cross multiplying 7.5 is equal to 2b. So b is equal to 3.75. That means Brooks can do it in 3.5 hours. Whoops, not what I wanted. Yep, that's what I want. Brooks could do it 3.75 hours. And his sister, Katrina, it takes her 7.5 hours. Check it on your calculator. 1 over 7.5 plus 1 over 3.75, and you're going to get 2 over 5 as your answer. What's 2 over 5? 1 over 2.5. Same thing. It'll be the same fraction. Okay. Denny can clean the pool 4 times faster than her sister. Okay, well, let's just put that down. Okay, so you've got 1 over Denny's time, and you've got 1 over 4 times Denny's times. Okay, together they can do the job in 3 hours. It's equal to 1 over 3. Common denominator, 4 over 4d, and that's going to be equal to 5 over 4d is equal to 1 over 3. That's 15 is equal to 4d. You divide by 4, d is equal to 3.75. Keep getting that number. Not intentional. Okay? Yep, 3.75. Okay? Once again, you can check it on the calculator if you wish, but it works out. Tiana can quickly complete a project in 15 hours. Ooh, this one looks a little harder. So Tiana can do it in 1 over 15. Okay? Her sister Rihanna can complete the same project in 10 hours. Wait a second, they gave me both sides of this. Why'd they do that? If Tiana works alone for 1 hour, oh, wait a second. I'm going to ignore this for a second. Okay? Because I know what they're getting ready to ask me. How much more time do they need? Okay? Because when I add these two together, what do I get? 1 over 6. If that's 1 over 6, and Tiana worked for 1 hour, and then Rihanna worked for 2 hours, that's 3 hours, right? Well, they were taking 6 minus 3. That gives them 3 hours. So you know what? They need to work 3 hours together. That's the way that works. Okay? That's really all there is to solving these type of problems. These are the real life polynomial type problems that you will see. Okay? So, don't forget, keep sending me those. The fact of what class you're in when you're sending me K-mails, it really, really does help me. It does. Okay? And it helps YouTube because you get your answers much quicker that way. Okay? Don't forget, you can always come to Toga. We can work through any of these problems that you have. Look forward to seeing you next time we get together.